Hey guys, this is Titan. Today's another Friday, which means here we are in the 11th episode of my Cities Skylines project Vedastein, in which we are going to build a realistic, mid-sized German town. Now what I'd like to do for today is actually not that much. Reason for that is that I have an voluntary additional exam this Wednesday, so 2 days before the episode comes out. So I'm pre-producing this episode, and I need some more time to do the stuff I really wanted to do, meaning I need more houses. So for this episode we just do a few, let's say houses over here, maybe a supermarket, whatever. I'm gonna, let's call it, repair this here, so we don't have this temporary solution or this temporary interchange and whatever stuff here, so that the road connection over here is basically done after that episode. And besides that, just a few houses here. So I think the same as we did here, some houses, maybe another supermarket, backyards, the usual stuff. And just so you know, I will be quite busy, so the time I don't need for doing this week's episode, I need for asset creation, because the plan is that maybe in the next episode, maybe a bit later, I'm not really sure, I want to do the city park, and for that I need some houses that I have to build before. So that's why this episode is a bit shorter in terms of content and building area, but the next one might be bigger. Maybe let's call it like that. So without much more talking, let's go straight into the episode. So we start this episode by building the, as I said, connection between the city or the inner city and the outside world. As I said, I wanted to redo this temporary solution that I had until now, and I decided, as this is a major crossing here, that I want to go for a roundabout. The reason for that is that here are those two roads that come from the highways, and here they connect, go through the city, and then kind of part again. So those this 4-lane road on the other side of the roundabout is probably the most frequented road in the whole city, and so I thought it would be good to have a roundabout here that fits all those cars that will go here, or that will drive here, however. And I started by building a pretty big roundabout, and at some point I thought that it was just too big and not really realistic. So I used one of Ronix's ploppable gravel circles, as you see, and used it as a template, and I thought, that's a better size of the roundabout. I tried it with smaller roads, but I think with those 2-lane roads, with these vanilla 2-lane roads, it looks pretty good. And so, my problem is that I don't have a driving license, so all I know from traffic signs in Germany and traffic rules is what I see when I'm walking or on the tram or whatever, but I don't really know how the rules really are. So I figured what would be the most realistic looking design maybe for the roundabout, and especially for the signs that go along with the roundabout. So I decided for these arrows in the middle and small delineators with arrows on the traffic aisles in front of the roundabout, and I think it gives a pretty authentic look to the whole design. To be honest, after I did all those traffic rules that I also do here, the roundabout worked pretty good. That I was somewhat proud of myself, because it's actually the first time that I tried to make a somewhat realistic roundabout. Actually, I don't know how this was the first time, considering that I now have 1,400 hours of Cities Skylines, I guess, and it took me so long to build a roundabout, but well, that's how it is, I guess. And I'm pretty satisfied also with how fluent the traffic is, I guess, even with somewhat more cars on it. And here just some decals to, let's say, make it more realistic, maybe. I don't know if that's realistic. At least it looks way much better. And well, I would buy it that it's realistic like that. But maybe I know I have quite some people from Germany. Maybe some of you actually have a driving license and can tell me if that's a realistic design, because if that's the case, write it in the comments. The only thing I don't have for now are signs in front of the roundabout that say that say where or in what direction are the next big cities or whatever, because someone wanted to make such signs compatible to procedural objects, so I can use my own texts on them, but they aren't released until now, so I think I just have to wait until they are released. Or I'll have to do myself. I have to do some myself. Not a good day for English today. Don't know. And well, but I don't think that will be necessary. So for now we're just continuing, as I said, building some houses in the city. And as the road is going down to underpass to train tracks here, I thought some retaining wall would look good, and indeed it does look pretty good. Even though I think I did a little mistake here, and the retaining wall does not stay on the same height as the road where the wall starts, but it actually goes up. I just noticed that when I was done with the whole area, but at that point I thought, nah, I'm too lazy now to change that. And well, it still looks pretty good and I don't want to change it. And now as we're just placing some houses, let me say one thing, and that is that in the last episode, so in episode 10, for the first time I really let's say made it public that I have a Patreon site. Before that I only had some pictures in Steam descriptions that say I have Patreon and you may support me over there, but I didn't really yell it out to the public. And as I said, I did that last episode, and the amount of support I got from only these few words I said there, that's amazing. And I can just say thank you so much for that. It really will help me quite a lot, I think, because doing assets sometimes requires, or at least for me, doing assets and all that requires to have good photos of the buildings for the textures, of course. And for some it's enough to have some Wikipedia pictures or to have street view pictures, but yeah, the quality of those on one side is sometimes not good enough, or the pictures are not detailed enough, or whatever. And when it's about street view, well, here in Germany we don't have street view, sadly. And so most of the buildings that I built, I actually went to those towns to take pictures of buildings. For example, I released the Bautzen Cathedral, which will also be the cathedral here in our town, but whatever. I traveled to Bautzen to take pictures of the town. Of course, also it was nice to visit the town, and well, but yeah, I traveled quite a lot just because I need pictures of that. Of course, it's also nice to be in those cities, and well, but yeah, and that's what most of the money you want to support me with will go towards. But also for maybe some better programs for cutting or picture manipulation, image manipulation, however. And yeah, so back towards what I'm doing here. I'm just placing some small gardens behind those houses. We actually have that quite often here in Germany. They are called either Kleingärten or Schrebergärten, which actually just means little gardens, or to be honest, I don't even know what Schreber means in German, I have no clue what it would mean in English, but those are just little gardens for those who live in a flat in a city and don't have a real garden. So of course, if you live in a house that belongs to you or that you own, you most often have a garden for yourself. But if you live in a flat or in an apartment, you don't have a garden. And so these small gardens can be rented, whatever, by those who just also want to have a garden. Because just having a backyard is of course not the same as having your own garden where you can plant some crops or whatever. So here in Germany we often have some really big areas with loads and loads of those small gardens. And yeah, we also are going to do such an area in this city, but I think that'll need some time. Yeah, because for now I'd really like to finish at least the inner city. So meaning in one of the next episodes we will do the city park with some buildings around it, and actually I'm currently building those buildings, and then of course the old town. And the old town itself will be a pretty big project, because I need more buildings for the old town. I need also smaller stuff like outside areas for restaurants, which I also have to build, of course. And yeah, pretty much to do until then, because that is obviously the problem when you're not just a Cities Skylines YouTuber or a Cities Skylines city builder, but actually are an asset creator. Because having the ability to build your own assets on the one side gives you the possibility to build the city you really want to build, but on the other side also forces you to build those assets, which by itself again takes some time. But I suppose for you it's good, because on the one side you see I guess a bigger diversity of buildings in my city here, and on the other side it means more assets for you. So it's a win-win situation on your side. I don't know if that's an English term, a win-win situation, but should be. So behind these big 50s houses with a wet roof and the arcade in front of them, so with the shops in the ground floor, so my Quartier M houses, I figured it would look weird to have Feynbelt's Euro row houses behind them, because why should you build new houses in the 50s when the houses that were there are intact? And to compensate that, I also placed some pretty, well, in my opinion, pretty ugly row houses. As you see here, some block houses behind those shop houses. Maybe during GDR times, the area was in a too bad condition that they had to demolish it, or maybe it was because of the war. We'll think about that, and at some point when I really have an idea for the whole lore of the city, I have an explanation for that. Because actually we have this small part, or this small area of 50s houses here, and around that the normal European or German Gründerzeit houses, or Founders Age houses. But, well, it's at least kind of another style here, and not just always the same houses, so I think that's something good. I also sometimes used some of Feynbelt's Ruhrgebiet houses, like those ones here. Those are also from the 50s or 60s, I don't know, I think somewhere from those, from that time. And maybe the original houses that have been there were in a too bad condition and they had to demolish them. Something like that might be, well, kind of looking for the word. Something like that might be, let's call it, might be good. What's the opposite of silly? Useful? No. Something like that might be the opposite of silly. Call it like that, sorry. You know, I don't want to look for words before I record, because it feels more natural to actually talk without doing a script and looking for some words that I might use. It's just, well, I personally think it's better like that. So here we have our, is it the third supermarket in the town? Yeah, it's the third. No, it's the fourth. We also built one in the village. So here is the fourth supermarket in the town, or in the area. It's the third one in the inner city. We have pretty much supermarkets over here. And yeah, well, we just do the usual stuff with decorating it and all that. To be honest, there's not that much to say about this episode, because I'm basically just placing houses, doing backyards, and a supermarket, and well, sadly that's it. But as I said in the introduction, this time I didn't have too much time to record and all that. On the one side, because I have that exam tomorrow. So today is Tuesday and tomorrow I have the exam. So when you see the episode, it's all over, and when you see the episode, I know if it was a good idea to have this voluntary additional exam to push my mark or not on Saturday. So when you see that, actually tomorrow will be the graduation party or whatever. So yeah, pretty nice time currently. And with the beginning of next week, it's over. then school time is really over, so I'm pretty excited now. And then you also may expect some more assets and more videos, but I don't want to say too much. But I planned some really interesting stuff. So if you'd excuse me for now, I think that's it with my commentary. I hope you liked this episode. If you have some suggestions, feel free to write them in the comments. If you have some further ideas or some critique, also feel free to say it. I'm always often to hear it. And if you want to support me on Patreon, go down in the description. There is a link to support me over there. Of course, again, you don't have to do it. My videos will be free, my assets will be free. Patreons just have some have some small gimmicks like daily progress, so they see what I'm building on currently, or early access to videos and assets. But for you guys, nothing would change if you don't support me. So don't think I'm going to have a paywall or something like that. And yeah, that's it. Enjoy the cinematics at the end of the video. Again, thank you to my patrons. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel. If you like that video, like it, share it, and write a comment. And yeah, we'll see us again in the next episode. Have a nice time. Until then, take care of yourselves and bye bye.